And so in Timor, we've been predominantly focusing on manganese and limestone, but what we saw was immediately adjacent to our project, this Laleno Dome. So, historically, it's recorded as being potentially what's called a double anticline structure. So if you can imagine, sedimentary rocks, and then if you can imagine them being folded into an anticline, if you had that in both directions, north and south and east and west, in theory, you could actually have a dome structure. Now, so this dome structure sits immediately adjacent to our manganese project at Irimiri, and this massive structure, it's nearly 10 kilometres wide and 700 metres. It's really one of the most dominant things in the landscape. So we had a theory, you've got to come up with an exploration theory, and our exploration theory is this could be something other than just a double anticline. It could actually be very large intrusive structure, so effectively a volcanic structure, and that's important. And then the next thing we said, okay, well, let's put our geos on it. And so we spent about 6 weeks with geos walking up and down this thing, mapping the geology. And one of the things that we mapped was basalt. And so basalt is actually, igneous volcanic material. So at some point, igneous volcanic material came out of this structure and onto the surface. It didn't disprove our theory. It actually supports our theory that maybe there is a significant massive intrusion beneath it. The next thing we did was, let's go and map around it, because if you do have a volcanic mass coming up, generally brings up with it superheated groundwater, and that superheated groundwater contains dissolved minerals. And when that groundwater comes to the surface, into the country rock, the surrounding rock, it either precipitates with the local chemistry and you get mineralization falling out, or you might get structures like fissures and cracks that result in a pressure drop and result in minerals dropping out. And what we saw, it was some of those results that you've seen announced. We saw copper, we saw nickel, we saw silver. So once again, it didn't actually disprove it. It actually supported our theory that this isn't just a double anticline, this is actually something much bigger. And what really excites me about this one is the scale. This is one of the most significant structures in Timor, really. Once you see it on Google Earth, you cannot not see it every time you look at it, because not only is it a significant structure, it also sits on this lineament that crosses the whole country. What we've gone back to the guys doing that work, and we hope to be able to announce this shortly, is we said, we're really interested in this area. Give us the best resolution you can out of this data, and let's see what we get. And that's what we're really excited about. We think there's something there, but we really need to see the data processed and verified and checked. But it's pretty exciting. And so certainly it's exciting enough for us to think about a drilling program on it, as soon as we can.